Hi, Dave.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Dave. Do we curse on this podcast?
Yes, Eric. Yes, we do.
Hey guys, this is the $1,000 Broski, the Michael Jordan of wrestling figure collecting, Matt Cardona, and you're listening to the Major Wrestling... Wait, what? This is Adventures in Collecting? Is this the bootleg Major Wrestling Figure podcast? Are you serious, bro? Enjoy the show.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
Along with our journeys as collectors.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Are we live? Are we rolling?
We are, because I wanted to make the most of your time. This is Eric, by the way. Hi, Matt.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
So, John Carlo told me you're a big fan. He told me I should do your podcast. He said your last name is Wien? The Wiener? What's your name?
Close enough. It's Weinbrecht, but we could go with Wien for this evening. That's fine.
And then he asked me if I would do your podcast, and I said, okay, I'll do it right now. The guy's he has 10 minutes, and then he said you weren't ready. But how are you a Zack Ryder / Matt Cardona fan if you're not always ready?
Well, here we are. We are indeed always ready. We are ready.
Well, you're ready now. But that's because I'm a nice guy, and I let you set up. I give you some setup time.
It was Friday night. I was always having margaritas.
All right. You know what? I'll accept that answer. I'm a big margarita fan. Well, do you guys listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just listened to Bully Ray today.
I just finished packing up all the May the 4th Star Wars hats because we do all the work in house. Took me all day, but it's all done. I'm about to put it outside. The postal service is going to pick it up tomorrow, and that's it. That's it until we got more merch coming. I'm on your show. I'm going to plug all my stuff.
Excellent. Go for it.
But so let's go. I mean, John Carlo, who, by the way, I thought his name was John and his last name was Carlo. I didn't realize it was one word.
All one word.
Yeah, no, he's like Madonna.
That's right. So he's a good friend of mine. And I'm doing a little favor for him. So I'm here. I'm on the show.
Much appreciated.
And speaking of favors, thank you for recording the bumper for us a few months ago, back in December. So that was
honestly,
a bumper.
I have no idea that I did that. So
you did. You were on the holiday show.
Oh wow!
Yeah, you kicked off our Christmas episode. So thank you for that.
I feel like it was like Survivor Series weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I could help you guys.
So I'm really into those Remco style figures that you guys have been putting out with your likeness. Is there any more of those coming?
Well, we've done the ones that were masked, and people thought it was us. Wasn't quite sure, but we revealed it was us all along. So we will be releasing more without the mask coming very, very soon. But first, we have the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Championship title with shirts for the figures. So there's 2 versions of those. So those will be for sale very, very soon.
And you're still doing that through Ringside?
That is through Ringside. And then we have a couple more 2-packs coming later in the year. Not going to spoil it, but I will say that one of them, the gear kind of resembles what Brian and I wore at WrestleMania when we won the tag team titles. So since Mattel screwed us,
yes,
we're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah, those outfits very much so deserve plastic versions.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, let's get to the important question. Are we getting the Smart Mark Sterling figure?
You know what? We definitely want to get some extra characters in the line. I mean, because how many times can you get Matt and Brian repaints? Like how Mattel just makes same guys and those, like how many AJ Styles or Finn Balor's are seen. It's like, listen, we get it, top picks, but we need the undercard guys, So I would love to get a Smart Mark Sterling or a referee or Swoggle or Heath, but let's see what happens.
And you guys had some other really big announcements just today, right? You are rounding, you and Brian are rounding out the roster on a video game.
That's right. The Retro Mania. I was a huge WrestleFest fan as a kid. It was such a great arcade. I would always love playing it. Even now, it's still one of those timeless games. So for this to be the official sequel, it's just something that I had to be involved in. And it just, we talk about figure fate on the show, but we were released from WWE. They're about to finish this game. The timing was perfect to slide right in.
Yeah, and I love the style of the game too, and you guys are amongst some pretty awesome names within that roster. So I was very happy to see that today. That announcement.
You'll finally get to see Matt Cardona really retire Tommy Dreamer.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
After everything about him talking about how much for the figures at Live 5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Tommy, I love Tommy, but he doesn't get it. It's a business. It's a toy business. It's an investment. So when I bought that Greg Valentine, I spent a lot of money, but I bought a lot of other things with it. I've sold those things, kept what I wanted, and made money. So it's a business.
I love the sort of like toy/figure feuds that you have going with some of the other names that are out there, like Sid Vicious. I saw he was posting pictures of figures and calling you guys out. What is that? How is that? How do those things kind of develop between you and some of the other pro wrestlers?
Well, I don't think he's trying to knock us. I think, I want to get Sid on the pod. I would love to interview Sid. Sid was one of my favorites growing up, and to now that he's on social media for a while. And actually, I still don't even know for a fact if it's him or not. I don't know, because it's, he was so absent from social media. Now he's all over it. But that's the coolest thing about social media, right? Like, look, through a mutual friend, I'm on your podcast right now. I know you're a big fan. So now maybe I'll start listening to your podcast and I'll be a big fan of yours. You never know what could happen.
That would be awesome.
Crazier things have happened.
So now, important question, because we know how you are with wrestling figures. We know how you are with Ghostbusters. We know how you are with Star Wars. What are some of the other lines that you look at that we don't know about that are kind of unheralded? Like, we know you're a big Funko Pop collector. What else is out there?
I love NECA, what they're doing with the Ninja Turtles, and they do a lot of cool stuff. Like they did like Home Alone figures, so I have those, or I have like an Arnold Schwarzenegger collection, so I use a lot of the NECA figures. I think my Arnold Schwarzenegger collection is one that people don't quite know about, but I have like different Arnolds from different movies, and whether it be Last Action Hero or a Turbo Man. And it's cool that he's had so many action figures. I mean, because he is, if you think about it, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you close maybe not current day, but 80s, early 90s, he is a real life action figure. So it only makes sense for him to be in so many toy lines. So that's one that people maybe might not know about unless they had a full tour of the toy room.
Well, maybe you'll be getting a new Arnold figure because they're adding him back as he's returning as Dutch in the new Predator game. So maybe they'll be making a new aged Dutch figure.
I think they're making a Dutch pop vinyl too.
Really? I would definitely get that. I do have the Predator and the Dutch, the NECA stuff. So I would love some more. I'll take it.
You talked brief on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast about some of your Disney stuff. What sticks out the most for the Disney stuff that you have?
Like collectibles wise?
Collectibles, anything.
So I do have a Disney collection in my toy room. Of course, you got to have the Toy Story toys. It would only make sense. A toy room, Toy Story figures. But then when I was a kid, I used to collect these. I guess they're ceramic figurines. They're not toys whatsoever. And I would get those at the parks, and then they would sell them at the Disney store. So I have those, and but they're not toys. They're like, I guess they're for adults. I mean, I don't know why a kid, had these on display in his room, but maybe that's what they're for. They're for display. And they stopped making those, but it's really like some late 80s, early 90s stuff. And, nostalgia's in, look at all the toy lines that are out now. Power Rangers, Star Wars, Turtles, Ghostbusters. all these stuff from our childhood are they're toys like 30 years later. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially those Walmart exclusives, the real Ghostbusters. I mean, they're almost identical to the original releases. So what's old is new again.
I have a bone to pick with Walmart about that. I pre-order those on Walmart, and now they're in the stores, and I don't even have mine yet. So Walmart, if you're listening, I'm pissed off.
I hear you, man. I have those Plasma series pre-ordered too, and people are finding them at Target.
That's another thing too, right? Same thing. I have those pre-ordered from Pulse, and they're at Target. What the F, right?
Yeah, why bother with a Pulse subscription if I could be going out and getting them at Target?
Right. The whole point of the Pulse is to get it early.
Yeah, fans first. What?
Yeah.
Another big question, another big Parks question. I'm coming at you with Galaxy's Edge stuff.
Okay.
As far as the lightsaber goes, because I saw the video, I stayed away from before I went because I wanted to stay spoiler free.
Yeah.
What lightsaber did you wind up making?
I made it's a purple one, so I don't know exactly what version it's called. There's like 4 different types you can choose from.
Yeah, I did a purple one as well with the Rancor tooth on the hilt.
Ooh, the Rancor tooth. Oof. I got those Rancor teeth little like shot glass things from the cantina. Those are awesome.
Man, you guys are just rubbing the salt in the wound here for me. All my trip just got COVID canceled. I had the cruise and the Disney World trip all bundled into one, and now I am delayed. So that was supposed to be my first jaunt into Galaxy's Edge. So.
You're gonna love it. It's if you're a Star Wars fan, even if you're not, it's just so cool. And could there have been other things added to make it a little better? Okay, maybe. But for what it is, it's pretty damn cool. I mean, the Rise of the Resistance ride is the best attraction, in my opinion, that Disney or any other theme park has made ever.
Agreed. And I loaded up on Porg merch too.
Oh, you're a big Porg mark, huh?
Yeah.
Dave is the Porg mark, Matt. Like the Porg mark.
So how do you feel that the Porg has been like kicked in the nuts by the child?
You know what? If anything is going to, that the child is the best. Like, you're having a bad day, you can just take a look at the child with the cup, and you're in good shape.
All right, so you're cool.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we can have that on record, Dave. You are okay with the usurping of the Porg status by the child?
If anything can steal Porg's thunder, it's the child.
Damn. All right. I didn't think it was possible.
So Matt, would you say just by far the Greg Valentine Rhythm and Blues is the craziest thing you have in your collection, or is there anything kind of that's come near it that we haven't seen?
I'm one of those collectors who shares. I listen. I respect people's privacies, and there's a lot of collectors out there who keep things behind the scenes. I like to share, and I'm not doing it to rub it in or to show off. I like to spread the knowledge, because a lot of things I've posted are things that people have never seen before. So I want people to see these things. I don't. I'm not saying look what I have and look what you don't have. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say, like, hey guys, this thing was going to come out, and look, it never did, and here it is, and here are the pictures of it. Here's the video of it. So that's kind of what we're doing here, is like, just making people aware of things. But yeah, I don't think there's anything. I think you've seen it all, unless I don't know if I've ever shown my Hasbro unreleased Hall of Fame heads of Macho Man and Undertaker. I think I have.
I think you have.
Yeah, I think you've shown those.
Yeah, I've been planning to do a video where they're in these sealed cases. I want to break open the case and actually build a figure, like on a G.I. Joe Hall of Fame figure. So like, I bought the G.I. Joe figures, do a little customization thing. Obviously, it'll be a naked figure because I don't have the Macho Man or Undertaker clothes or the Hulk Hogan clothes. But I think it'll be cool to see how they would have been and how they would have moved. And that's something I got to do. We're stuck in this quarantine. I have all the time in the world, so I should probably bang it out soon.
So, something else that is kind of relevant for the time here. It was just your birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
We saw the awesome cake that you got, but did you get any new figs? Did you get anything to open?
No, Chelsea knows that she can't get me any figs for my birthday because, like, I get what I want. Like, did figures come in the mail and it just happened to be my birthday? Yeah, but I don't really care. This figure's coming every day, so every day is my birthday.
So speaking of things coming in the mail, are there any white whales? Anything you're hunting? I know you've been posting a lot of pictures of looking for those ECW entrance rings and some of those jack sets. But is there any big white whales you're trying to hook right now?
I think we're at the point now where the things that I'm getting are things that I don't really want or need, but I'm kind of convincing myself to get because like it's an addiction, right? Like once you have every Hasbro, then you're like, oh, let me try to find some pre-production stuff. But yeah, I mean, if let's say for instance, if there was like an orange card diesel prototype out there, of course I'd want that. I try to get that. I do know that somebody has a unreleased Just Toys Bendham Dink. It was supposed to come with a ring. He has the ring and the dink. And
the Toy Fair one you showed the picture of?
I believe so, yes. So I know who has it, and I know he is going to sell it soon. And I don't know if he's going to do like auction style or if he's going to, do like a private, like have people bid against each other. But I'm very anxious because I don't know how high that will go for. For instance, like the USA Lex Luger that I lost a year or so ago on eBay, it went for like $8,000, and I thought it would go for like 3 or 4. So sometimes you don't know the market for things, especially something that's never been sold before. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a great point. Along with the stuff that Jeremy Padower has been showing off, those Ultimate Warrior figures. Especially that, what was it, 1 of 3?
The 1 of 3, yeah.
I mean, wild shit. I didn't know that figure existed until he posted that picture.
Yeah, I mean, that one has been blowing my mind, but also he's like giving away rare stuff too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that New York Toy Fair, the other Warrior, I think it's like 1 of 100.
1,000, yeah.
So now I'm missing both those Warrior Americas. I need the employee one with Uncle Jack.
Dude, I was at live too. I thought you were gonna pull the trigger right there.
Oh no! Hey, spoiler alert! That was a little part of the act.
Okay.
You think some guy who just had the Warrior with him? Of course, no. It was a plan. It was to lead to the Chelsea scene where she gave me the old low blow.
Oh, of course. I still thought you were gonna make it happen though.
Oh well, I mean, maybe one day. He wants a lot of money for it, so you never know.
You've talked about many times of just having everything and then just kind of selling it off. Like for a while, I was out of the mix. The retros were actually what brought me back in, and then it turned into getting your figure and Brian's your elites to bring to Live 2 to get signed, and then the ball just kept rolling for me from there. After you had sold everything initially, what brought you back?
Well, I didn't sell everything. I just sold bits and pieces. So, like, for instance, I think it was once Jax lost the license, in whatever year that was. What was that, 2009-ish? No, probably earlier than that, right? Do you remember? Do you recall?
It was 20 years, right? So it was
2008, 2009. Yeah.
Yeah, 2008, 2009. My math is awful at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so once that happened, I sold all the Jacks, all the classic superstars. I sold everything except for my LJNs, my Bone Crunchers, and my Hasbros. And then little by little, I started getting more things like, now you asked like what got me back into it. So I remember it was on the WWE Network at the time. It was the Monday Night Wars show they were doing. And that got me like itchy to get my Toy Biz figures back. And then once I get the Toy Biz figures back, I really should get the ECW figures back. And then a couple of years ago, I was listening to Tony Schiavone's "What Happened When" podcast. I was like, oh, that era, that mid '90s. Oh, let me get those the San Francisco toy makers back. And then it just kind of spawned from there. And then eventually, the Michael Jordan of Wrestling for collecting. I don't have every figure, but I need to have pretty much every line, something to represent each line, if that makes sense.
Totally. Yeah, I am not a completionist, but I do I collect like the Marvel Legends, specifically the MCU figures, and the Star Wars 3 3/4 figures, and I don't try to get like every single version of Spider-Man or every single version of Han Solo or Luke. I just kind of try to get like each look represented. So if they keep producing a figure over and over again, whether he's got 5 points of articulation or 20, it doesn't make a difference to me. But if I have, Luke in his Dagobah outfit, I got it. We're good.
Right.
So I feel you on that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the best part about collecting. It's like you can get as in depth or as casual as you want. No one has a gun to your head and says you need to buy all these. Like there are some people saying that we make too much major pod merch. Well, you don't have to buy it all. You know what I'm saying?
Which, by the way, you do not make too much merch. I'm not going to name names, but there are places out there that make too much merch.
Right.
You guys, like, at least like the stuff that you're putting out, it may be more frequent than other people, but it's interesting. Like you guys always have nice little twists, whether it's like a color combination or a throwback to something. It's always interesting.
So you say that now, but we got the Summer of Stomp 2 coming up. We got a lot of merch dropping. Besides the t-shirts, like, Pro Wrestling Tees is so great. And it's a print to order business. So like we can put all these shirts up there, but we don't have the stock in these, it could be the worst shirt in the world and literally one person can buy it. And if one person buys it, it's a success. You know what I'm saying? But like, we know we're having, Summer of Stomp. Like the people love the TTD Wrestling prints. We're going to do a run of prints, limited edition Stomp in Paradise hats. We're working on, a Stang foam bat. A lot of obscure things, plus the figures that we've discussed. I think there's another pop socket coming out. So we try to make things, for everybody and not just wrestling figures. Obviously, like we would love to be, banging out these wrestling figures, but it takes a long time, costs a lot of money. So to make, a pop socket for $15, maybe someone can get that, but then, they can't get the $100 Stomp in Paradise figures is too expensive for them. And that's fine. So that's why we try to make stuff for everybody's budget.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Stang, now that the Sting figure is canceled, there's a void that needs to be filled there. So
nothing's happening.
Maybe we need a Stang figure in his absence.
I would love a Stang figure. I just think that might be tiptoeing the line a little too much.
Here's my show question for you. Especially a lot of this stuff is Heath related, but when you kind of are naturally, all of that stuff is organic, that's kind of caught on. But when you and Brian catch lightning in a bottle with something, whether it's like with Who's Lucy or with Stang, is it something where it's like, yeah, I could see this going, or is it always just kind of catch you by surprise?
Well, like you said, it's like something that you can't create things like the Stomp. We didn't sit down one day and say like, let's start the Stomp in Paradise thing. It was just, we were telling the story of the Stomp figures. Then Brian said he would play like Thunder in Paradise or Stomp in Paradise. And I'm like, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did some like fake TV intro, and then that turned into merch, and then that spawned into it's our second Summer of Stomp. So just things kind of just escalate and snowball. And like you said, like when we first started the show, I remember someone came to us and they wanted to make us like a jingle, like an opening jingle. And I said like, hey, I appreciate it, but listen, we don't have like an identity right now. We don't have any like catchphrases. We don't have any like inside jokes. And oh my God, now look, the whole Live 5 is basically an inside joke and a catchphrase, So things just kind of, they just happen. When it comes, it comes. There's another one. There's another saying right there. But when it comes, it comes. And we're both very creative guys, especially with Mark helping us out, and with the major marks. Even some of the major marks give us ideas for things. Like even the Sunil 187, this heel character we built off this guy Sunil, who was crying his eyes out on the Hulk Still Rules DVD. We found him again. We put him in the group. He's a heel in the Facebook group. We had him at the toy drive, and he wrestled. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys often catch that lightning in the bottle. And I think part of it has to do with the personalities and the people that are involved. I mean, you guys have such a dynamic bunch that the material, I'm sure, kind of writes itself.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, I can't think of anything where we're like, okay, let's make this a thing. Just stupid things happen and stupid things catch on, and then some things that were hot in the beginning, they kind of just fizzle off, and we let them die. Or some things, get bigger and bigger. Like the fig bath has gotten bigger and bigger, or my Stop in Paradise got bigger and bigger. But I'm sure if I were to go through some of our earlier pro wrestling tea stores, I'm sure there's some things that never took off or was a temporary thing.
Yeah, I mean, like on social media, if you type in, # scratch, the autofill is that figure itch at this point.
Well, I mean, that's something that that's our tagline now, our slogan. But that wasn't something that was planned either; it just happened. And when we started the podcast, the first episode, it's just Brian and I talking for like 45 minutes. We had no format, and that came in time. And the pods evolved so much, and like we announced today on comicbook.com, even though Mark is mad that I did it, that we are going to have a spin-off show in the summertime. So we've been doing the fantasy fig feds on the Patreon, and it's gotten so popular that we are going to turn it into a weekly show. So there's going to be double Major Derek pod.
So cool. So yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to segue into that announcement. So thank you for doing that for me.
Well, I'm a professional, and that's what it is, right? It's like, it's nostalgia, and and I'm not gonna lie, it's fun as hell to do this. And listen, I'm not on the floor playing out these matches. I'm not having Undertaker walk down to the ring, but when I am booking the figures, or booking the matches, I'm actually using the figures. So in that sense, I am playing with them, I guess. And then, to do the figure photography, it just, I'm not going to get into what we have planned exactly, because Mark will get very, very mad. He's already very, very mad at me. But it's one of those things that I really believe that it might become more popular than the weekly podcast.
It's one of those things where if you even as like a small child, where you were playing, with your wrestlers with other figures, and you kind of had, bouts between like the Undertaker and Batman, which we totally did when we were kids. Dave and we had a spreadsheet, and we kept track.
Yeah, wrote everything down. Like, I used to, back in the LJN days, pick names out of hats and make my own like battle bowl. So yeah,
right, for sure.
And it all, it would not surprise me if this takes off like wildfire for you guys, because it is such a nostalgic thing, and it's so much fun to see other people do it.
I remember the first Fig Fed discussion on the show, and I'm like sitting in my car nodding my head going, yep, 100%. Because it's something we all did in our collecting.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just one of those things that, like, people, they know that, when they played with those figures, like, they knew they'd grow out of it one day. But now to like be able to like rekindle those memories, it's like a feeling that you can't get in a time machine, But when you listen to this pod, I think that's the closest you're gonna get.
And I think the timing for it is perfect, because people are scratching for new forms of entertainment, new forms of content right now, harder than they have been in a long time because of the situation that we're all in. So I think another quote unquote type of like sports entertainment through this action figure fantasy league is an awesome opportunity for people to kind of escape into it. So
and the thing is like, if you like wrestling figures, you'll love it. But if you don't, I don't want to. I've already said too much.
Fair enough.
I've already said too much.
Fine.
So now, going back into like, even like the flea market days, or going to like, so many different stores, what has changed for you as far as how you find stuff?
Because now I will use the internet and use these Facebook groups. So like a Facebook group is where you'll find the rare stuff for me. Like eBay, I haven't find any like prototype except for the Doink the Clown orange card on eBay. They were all found through private sellers on Facebook groups.
We've heard time and time again now that once you get into the prototype market, it's private invite only Facebook groups, and like once you get into one, then you can get into 2 and 3, and that's where you start finding all this crazy shit.
Well, I mean, and that's where it is, and because like people don't want to deal with the eBay fees, the PayPal fees has gotten ridiculous, and plus the tax, you got to pay the IRS, you got to pay Mike Rotunda at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? So if you can just do it a private deal, you'll save, and you'll save money because you won't have the eBay fees, you won't have the PayPal fees.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
So what's the latest thing that you've gotten from one of those private Facebook groups?
It's been a while since I've gotten something super duper rare. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I wish I could say I got something super cool, but I mean today I just got I got junk today. Today I got the rarest thing I got today was a foam tag team title that was sold at the live events, but it's one of the rare versions where they finally switched the black logo to the scratch logo. If I'll post a picture, but it's not even that big of a deal. It's just for me, I collect the foam belts, so that was the one I was missing. Do the foam belts go next to the foam fingers? They're all just in my garage stacked up. I have to say that's one of my favorite things because I'm married for 11 years at this point. I've been with my wife for 15 years. We have a 4-year-old. The collecting with the relationship that you have with your significant other while you're collecting is such an interesting thing because I literally see the same shit. Like when I see you post pictures, I'm like, oh, I've seen that face before. That face came. I just saw that face when my Evil Dead 2 figures came.
Yeah, my girlfriend's like, no, I didn't see anybody by those names in the store. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, thank you for looking.
See, I'm jealous. She still looks for you. Jess is like, I went to Walmart. I'm like, did you go to the toy section? She's like, why would I do that? Well, yeah, you got to go to Walmart for those steak and figs, and Chelsea, she does not, she's not a collector, but she'll go with me for the steak and figs. She knows Walmart time, steak and figs. We just put up a YouTube vlog doing that. But speaking of steak and figs, I need to go eat my 5th meal of the day. So I'm going to have to cut this conversation a little short, even though it went pretty long.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be on our tiny little show, and thank you for being an inspiration both to Dave and I. We love the podcast. We love what you do. You're such a huge part of the toy community. And, we have a lot of respect and it's an honor to have you on the show.
We are here doing this because of you and Brian.
Oh my God, my butt is so wet from you guys kissing it so hard.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us, because without guys like you, we couldn't be doing the show. So thank you very much, and good luck with this show, and best wishes, baby.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
See you guys.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azzari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both on our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.